So yeah, so today we are basically covering about understanding the big data and what exactly is big data. What are the some of the characteristics that defines big data, and how the data going to be generating, right? So I'm sure many of you either heard or read something about big data. It's an evolving and revolutionizing the entire anti IT industry, and every organization and every industry is getting generated enormous data. So there is a need for all the enterprises to process the data and get more insights, so that they can manage their businesses well, they can manage their risk well, and also any kind of a pandemic situation they can handle better, right? So that's the use of big data. Now, for example, if you see the recent pandemic which has impacted across the industries, right? So there are a lot of risk associated with that, and a lot of companies have lost their revenues, and so many things have happened, right? Imagine if there is a data available and that could give those insights to handle those situation and handle the risk very well. That would have been fantastic, right? So we will discuss in today's uh, session how and what are the some of the advantages and how big data is revolutionizing across the industries, whether it's finance, retail, travel, healthcare, so on and so forth, and the list goes on. And as we yesterday, so I was mentioning, every company is a data company. Every company is producing some sort of data regularly. So it's very important to manage the data and as well as the process data to get some insights. Okay, so that's about today's session, and um, let's get started. Okay, so now I wanted to hear from you. If you know already something about big data, or either you already working or you have read somewhere, anything, if you comes in your mind, what is big data according to you? Come on, I need some answers. Okay, I know it's early morning, but yeah, let's see.
It has no structure and it has a large data like our YouTube data and Facebook social media data. It doesn't have any, like, there is no structure and there is no limitation for this data. Continuously it is coming and its size is varying.
Absolutely right. So if I summarize what you have said is, there is no structure. That means it's a variety of data. Somebody is sending a CSV format, somebody is sending JSON, some tweet information we are getting from Twitter, and some from Facebook, some other format we are getting. So it's a variety of mixes, right? There is no standard format or standard way of getting data, right? That's a it's called a variety. And also the next one is, you also mentioned that it's a variety of sources. You mentioned YouTube, you mentioned Twitter, you mentioned Facebook, you mentioned some other social media, right? And there could be many more also, right? And so the variety of sources getting increased. There is no standard format, and also there is no standard. Okay, today I only get it from this, not from the other. It's not going to happen that way in real world, right? It's a variety of sources, and it's increasing day by day. And the third one is basically the velocity, the speed of changing, right? So if you take an example of Twitter, so just 1 second back or 1 minute back, there was some data is getting, and there were some people reacting to the Twitter feed, and there are some actions is coming out, right? So every minute the change is saying. So that's why it's, normally, so I call it as the three V's. As you can see, variety, volume, and velocity. So if any data contains these three characteristics, it's categorized as a big data, right? Simply, if you say simply, it is larger. Of course, the data volume is very high. It's not in MBs or GBs. If you can see, it's in terabytes and petabytes of data, and also it's more in complex, right? The data sets which are sending by either YouTube or any other, it's more in complex structure. It's not any human readable or anyone can easily understand. You need a specialized programs, you need a specialized tools and technologies to handle the data. And as well, it's coming from many data sources, like it's YouTube or any other sources. It's coming from multiple sources. So that's categorized as a big data. Okay. So moving to how the data is getting generated, right? As some of the example we have talked about, right? So internet is one of the biggest revolution of our age. And yesterday we were discussing about how it's revolutionizing the entire AI industry, right? And internet is many ways of getting generated data, right? If somebody is walking this morning and it generates some to the digital watches and all, it can generate some data. And somebody is going from point A to point B through GPS, we are getting some data. And of course the social media which we discussed, it's one of the biggest contributor to the generating the data in every day and every minute. See the some of the numbers I just wanted to bring it to you. And it's sometime back we have taken these numbers, but now if you take these numbers again, it's more than that. It's no longer less than, but it's more than these numbers. Okay. Social media is again another biggest contributor to big data. We have Snapchat, we have LinkedIn, and we have YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, whatnot, and the list goes on. Okay, so it's very important organizations to leverage this data and understand the customer sentiment and accordingly personalize the offerings that the customer is expecting, right? Today, in today's world, nobody has a time to go through the entire list of product and services that the customer is offering and selecting himself or herself. But if it's a better way of handling the customer with the bringing a 360 degrees of value, understanding the customer very well and personalizing the offerings that can suit the individual needs. That's going to be revolutionizing, right? And the same example, for example, if you see if you log into Netflix, you can browse through all the channels and the movies and the web series that's available, or the Netflix itself offer you, recommend you some of the best watching movies and best watching web series or best trending today. What is the trending is happening today that can customize and personalize for you. That could be easy for us, right? So that saves a lot of time, because time is most important and constant. Uh, Everyone has a 24 hours. Either I can spend an hour to browse through everything, or Netflix itself curated that information that suits my profile. For example, if I may, in Netflix in profile, if I mention my age as 60 and above, and then based on my profile, Netflix itself curates that information, and personalization happens through the different processes and recommends the programs and the movies that suits my age. And if I mention my profile as my age is around 20 or 25, then accordingly it gives the recommendations, right? So that's how it does. There is huge data it cover, processes in the backend. It generates those personalized information on every minute and every second. Okay, if the many people like my age are watching and are liking that information, it captures the data and processes. And if the similar kind of a group or kind of a age, if another person is logged in, it sends that recommendations to that other person. Okay, so that's how this big data being processed. Okay, so and another one is communication, right? Hundreds of messages, WhatsApp and SMSs, all this stuff, right? So there are about 16 million messages going in and around, right? And also there are if you go to Facebook Messenger or any other messengers, there about there are so many actions, and there are so many trending actions are happening in every day and every second, right? And you would have seen your Gmail. If you log into your Gmail, there are about millions of spam emails you'll be seeing, and the lot of either sales related or promotion related emails keep getting in every second and every minute. Okay, so those are the ones where the data getting generated on a very second and a minute. And coming to the services, for example, weather. What is my weather? If I just log into my mobile, I could see what is my maximum temperature or what is my minimum temperature in my area right now, right? And what's going to coming up? It may be in the evening, it's maybe cloudy or raining, right? All that information I can get in my finger. So how does this happen? It's again the weather channel receives the data from multiple sources, and they are predicting. And even now, if you see all the news channels also, they're broadcasting the temperature information, right? So in different cities, for example, Hyderabad, Cochin, Bangalore, or Visakhapatnam, so you would see what is the temperature maximum and minimum, and how much humidity you have, particularly this summer. So these are things very important, and there are a lot of processes and platforms involved in this processing the data. So that's where you're getting the information in your fingertip. Okay, so again, Spotify, I would say it's another revolutioning in terms of uh, personalizing the audience and recommending the right mood and right songs for the somebody logs in. For example, if I'm going for a walk right now, okay, so Spotify identifies that my location. Okay, this guy is going for a walk, and so the mood is different when you walking, right? So it's recommends a particular playlist for you so that you can listen to those music during the walking. And if you're going for a gym, right? So based on the gym mood, it recommends the playlist and the recommended songs. Okay, somebody would be interested while doing gym, right? And if you're going for some occasion, or if I'm going for some other purpose, so it's basically personalization based on the need, and it recommends those playlists, right? So rather than you going through the hundreds of playlists and you choosing yourself, Spotify itself collects the data and processes and personalizes that information for you. And of course Uber, and I can take so on and so forth. There are hundreds of examples. Okay, so now the coming to the next Internet of Things, right? As you would have known that what is that Internet of Things, right? That the devices the generates the data. If I wear a digital watch, it gets my pulse information, it gets my all other information through the digital watch, and the data being captured somewhere, right? And if you go to uh, if you're going if you're in a traffic, or if you will see the traffic traffic signals also captures the data through CCTV cameras, right? So how many people are violating the rules, and is there any unusual happening over in a particular situation and particular junction, right? So those data being captured and then move being passed to the other people. For example, if you log into FM, I know in Bangalore, if you drive car and if you log into FM, if you are listening to FM, they also gives you the traffic information, which are all the areas is congested at that point of time, or which are all areas you need to avoid, right? So then those information how they're getting, because of this Internet of Things, they're getting the data through the CCTVs, and then they process the data. Okay, and there are millions. Even if you're an enterprise, if for example you are manufacturing your facility, you have a huge manufacturing facilities across the world. You have one in India, one in the US, one in UK, one in Europe, right? So there are a lot of your the product and services you're making, the lot of data getting generated, and that data really helps to get some insights to either for your maintenance, if some machinery is due for maintenance, or something is getting unusual. So these kind of insights you can get, so that your organization can handle the situation well in advance, so that there is no impact to your production. Remember, if there is any impact to the production, your revenue is getting impacted, right? So those are the different use cases and different ways of handling the situation better and managing risks using big data. That's why every organization behind the big data, and there is a huge team sits and process the data that is getting generated every day and gives the insights to the organization. So the management sitting on top, they can look at those insights and get uh, act upon the insights in advance, so that they can manage the risk very well. Okay, so let's see how this data can be processed, right? So now we have a big data. Okay, we have a big data. We are coming through all the sources, and every minute we're getting data, and it's in terabytes, petabytes of data is coming in every minute and second. So how do we process, right? You need a mechanism to process. Unless you process the trends, unless you process the understand that information, and unless you process that, you're not going to get the right information, right? For example, if I let's say I wanted to introduce a new product to the world, right? So what is the best place to introduce it? Twitter. Just posted in Twitter saying that, hey, look, I'm coming up with a new product soon, right? I just want to know your opinion or your feedback. Just post a video or just post some glimpse of that product, what is going to serve the purpose, and what problem is going to solve that. Just post something and you will see the reactions. Somebody would like, somebody says no, it's not up to the market, and you can add these things. Somebody give a feedback, right? So you need to process that feedback, and you need to process those actions to take into account to make the product better, right? So that is where the analytics part come into things, right? So what is the analytics? Understanding the trends, patterns, and correlations that can make and help us to give some informed decisions. So remember, these are data informed decisions, right? So based on the data, so these many people had liked this product, and these many people didn't like. These many people are expecting more, and these many people are giving the suggestions to improve the product. Otherwise, if you not considered those trends, patterns, and correlations, you just launch the product, nobody going to use, and at the end of the day, you will suffer. Your organization will suffer. Say that it's again a failed product. But before releasing the product, you have is all the information. understand, process those information and make the product better. So you have a better chance. Even if you launch with these things, you have better choice of getting more users using the product and more revenues, right? So understand this, guys. These are the businesses are working. And earlier, if you take 10 to 20 years ago, we did not have this much provision, or we did not have this facility to understand the pulse of users before the product release. That's how many products have failed. Okay, so this is what a part of the digital revolution, if you ask me. So every organization is experimenting in digital revolution, and big data analytics going to play a bigger role in this digital revolution. And every organization has mandate to do that, right? You would have seen some of the organization. I know I when I was starting my career, the Nokia was the first mobile I have used. But where is Nokia right now? Nowhere, right? And the first passport photo I got it from Kodak. There is a Kodak studio near my home, so I went there and got the passport size photos for some passport or some other purpose. Now, where is the Kodak right now? So so these are some of the examples. If you don't uh, uh, if you don't take seriously part of this revolution, you will be perished. There is no doubt about that. So that's where the organizations are investing millions of billions of dollars to get understand the customer pulse, and they're spending more money in terms of as part of the digital revolution, right? See, the same thing could have been. See, the same thing could have been handled with other Excels also, right? If either I am sitting in US and you are sitting in somewhere, you will send an Excel to me and I will pass on to them, and it's taking a lot of time, right? But the same thing with the help of Twitter and the other platforms, you can easily launch your product in within minutes or within seconds. The moment you launch, and immediately you will get the reactions from the users. Okay, so big data analytics is nothing but understanding the data and identifying the uncovering the trends, patterns, correlations from the large volume of data that's getting generated across the world, and help the organizations to make data informed decisions, right? Suppose I have a another example could be I have a I'm sitting in India, I have a manufacturing facility in US. Right now I don't know what is the situation in US. Maybe there are some some local stuff is happening, and some labor related issues or something is happening in US, right? And there is an impact to my manufacturing unit in US, right? So I can from here I can get that pulse, and I can get the understanding. I can get the data, and I can act upon. Okay, there is a problem in US. Okay, I can plan to productionize the items from other facility other than US. So I can take some maybe in India, Noida, right? Or there is a huge floods, and there is some huge rains are happening in Noida. There is impact to the production. Okay, so that data is coming to me. Then I can take a call. Okay, there is something happening in Noida, so we won't expect as much as expected. So which could impact our revenues. So the management take an action. Okay, Noida is a problem. Okay, let's shift to some other place. So these are the information that gets using the trends, patterns, and correlations, and helps the businesses to take the right action and the right time. Remember, guys, right action and right time, one of the critical element to make success in the business. If you don't take a right action at the right time, you will be behind, and the competition will took place, and you will be back. That's it. Okay, so that's the important of analytics to you need to understand. Okay, and now let's talk some of the use cases, right? And we see there are different departments in every organization. and how this big data analytics is helping them to make things better. For example, in finance, let's talk about the finance, the consumer analytics and insights for insurance companies, right? For example, I want with the COVID and all, I want an insurance. I want insurance for me, my family, and everybody, right? And with the symptoms, like with the COVID and without COVID, pre-COVID, post-COVID, and the symptoms are different. And somebody with the age with above 60, or with somebody with age above 30, so there are different customizations happening, right? There are a lot of consumer analytics and consumer related products we need to launch, right? If I launch just a product with the common across to everybody, you may not be that impressed with by the audience or the consumers. So you need a consumer specific and personalized insurance policies for everybody, right? Earlier earlier we used to take insurance policy if you are above 30 or 40 or something, some age. Now everybody with above 15 or 20, we need a policy with COVID situation. Okay, so these are the consumer analytics that can get for finance related, right? And real time analytics and marketing. So real time, for example, if you see uh, uh, where is the demand for my product in a particular area, particular segment, right? For example, I have a budget of I wanted to market my product right now. Okay, so what is the best place to market? IPL. If in India, it's IPL is happening, where you can see millions of people are watching IPL. So you need to spend your marketing in IPL, right? So that's the most viewing sponsorship you can get it, right? And sometime back you could have seen the football. We have a World Cup, football World Cup happen across the world. There are millions of fans and everybody is watching the football. So where do you spend your marketing spend and campaigns? Spend with that where the crowd is there, right? Let's say if you want to launch a new soft drink right now. So where do you launch? Now it's summer everywhere, but the crowd is more in IPL. So that is the best place to launch a new product is IPL. So those kind of information you can get it from the big data, right? And risk assessment and management. Yeah, so every organization is struggling to manage their risk, particularly with the COVID situation. It's very important, and many companies are shut their shops because they could not able to handle risk very well, right? And if you see COVID is gone, now some another virus is coming, influenza, and many it's impacting many areas. So if it's impacting one area, what could be potential revenues I'm planning to get from that area, and you're no longer able to get those numbers from that area. So you need to have a different strategy to mitigate that risk and make your revenues up. And fraud, and with this online, so much of fraud is happening every day, whether it's a credit card and anti-money laundering. There's so many stuff happening, right? And customer segment and target marketing, as we spoke some of the examples, right? I need a specialized, if your age between 20 to 30, you will need a specialized campaigning. If you're aged between 30 to 50, you will need a different target marketing. And if you aged more than 50, you need a different product and services, and we need a different target marketing, right? And how do I predict some of the events, and so that I can plan better for my future, right? So these are the some of the use cases that you can see in finance, and that could help using big data analytics. Similar way, retail, again, the personalization experience, and predicting demands, right? And operational efficiency. Right? Companies are struggling to efficiently manage their operations because operation cost is more, and with the increasing competition, we need to stabilize these operations efficiency and improve the productivity. There is no other way, right? So in that case, how the big data can help? It collects the all the data from manufacturing, and it gives the insights of which machinery is due for maintenance, or which machinery is fault tolerance, so that you can plan those machineries and fix those machineries very well in advance, and then it could not impact your overall production. Otherwise, one day machine is shut and your entire production is down. You don't have any option to do unless fix it, and which could take couple of days and couple of weeks, which is again impacting your overall revenues and production, right? And supply chain, yes, it's another big chunk. See, I want to manufacture a product, for example a mobile, right? So what happens, mobile, for example, if you take a Xiaomi, it gets the parts from China and other markets and assembles in India. Now what would happen if I already marketed a new mobile in the coming up to the market in next couple of weeks, and there is some situation happens in China, so the entire the production is down. So no, now you are no longer getting the products to India. So how do you assemble? How do you market the mobile? Right. So these kind of supply chain problems could also handle with big data analytics. Healthcare, it is another big industry, right? Patient treatment and preventive medicine, right? Even if you there was a news that you can detect a cancer if somebody has a cancer or not using the data. So you need not go to doctor to, or normally how cancer is comes to you. You don't know initial stages of cancer unless you are in the either stage 3 or stage 4. You don't know somebody has a cancer or not. The stage 0 1, nothing, there is no symptoms and all. But it's a very one of the key to cancer patients treatment is identifying in early and acting upon. Now, if you don't know unless stage 4 or 5, how do you know that? How do you identify those, and how do you get the treatment, right? But using the data now, you can predict if somebody has a cancer, or somebody can get a cancer. You can use the using the data, you can predict it. And the devices, right? And research and cost reduction, right? Cost is one of the major factor is impacting across the industry, and there is a better way of hand managing the costs and giving the personalization by keeping the long term services and savings, right? Earlier we used to take if you want to take any health tests or anything, it used to cost a lot. But now if you few thousands, you can get the entire body checkup, and you can do that. How it's happening? Because they're taking advantage of technology and driving the business. Okay. So another one is travel, of course. Yeah. So I was speaking to somebody last year to plan a Goa vacation. And the moment I logged in my system, I'm getting all the Goa related information for my accommodation, for my flights and everything. So how do they know I'm planning to go for a Goa vacation? Because I was chatting with somebody that Goa. So they got that information through internet, and they're sending special customized personalized information to me related to Goa, right? So it's a revolutionizing, guys. Earlier you may not know, or you need to plan a huge to make it any vacation. But today, if you want to, you do not do any upfront planning and so much of brainstorming yourself, where to go, how to go, where to stay, all the stuff. Everything information is available, and you have services to do that, right? So that's the power of data. That's why you would have heard this data is new oil and this kind of jargons, right? Yes, if it's a new oil, unless it's a refined and useful. Oil you cannot use directly. You need to refine that oil, and then you can use whether it's a cooking oil or it's some other no varieties of oil. Similarly, data is the same thing. The raw data you cannot do anything. It's a very confusing and nothing exists. But if you take an advantage of take the raw data and process in a way that could suit your organization and get the insights, that's a magic. All right, so that's about understanding the big data concepts, right? So I think the first one is about what are the different areas we have covered. The big data is revolutionizing. We discussed so far. So now the floor is open for any questions. Come on, no question is right or wrong. Anything comes to you want to clarify, we can discuss.
Sir, what are the packages after doing this course?
What are the packages? What do you mean by packages?
I mean salary packages.
Oh, salary packages. Okay. So it's depend on your experience. If somebody uh, with an entry level, somebody comes out of a college and getting trained and trying as a fresher, fresher salary in India between around 3 to 5 lakhs, right? But somebody who is already into the industry with different uh, technologies and working with different technologies and other areas and upskilling him or herself to get into data engineer. So it's depend on their role, how what how what were their previous experience and how can they enhance their skills using the data engineering, and that could shape up their career into the role next role. Okay, so as a data engineer, anyhow, currently, as entry level, as I mentioned, 3 to 5 lakhs as a fresher. But if you cross a little experience with 2 to 5 years, you can get anywhere between 15 to 20, and then so on and so forth.
Sir, I have a question.
Hmm.
Uh, Data dimensional modeling is also we are going to cover in this syllabus.
No, not dimensional modeling will part of this course. But when we are doing those real-time scenarios, so we will be touching the basic things about how to create tables and all the dimensional modeling, and it's not part of this course.
Okay. So it is just we are just transferring file here to there, right? This is what we are learning in data Azure data factory.
Correct. Not just here moving the data here to there, but also we are covering the real-time scenarios. For example, whatever we discussed, right? For example, let's say that I am getting a sales data or an employee data, right? So you will not be storing that employee data as is, right? So you will be creating the required data formats that's required for the your use case or the domain, right? So those things will be covered as part of this course.
And sir, in what in Azure data bricks,
Mhm.
what we are going to cover?
So Azure Databricks mostly PySpark and PySQL. Okay, so we'll be as a Databricks, we need to understand what is Databricks, how Databricks fits into the entire life cycle of a data engineering, right? Why it's so much important, why organizations are using so much right now, and what are the basics of Spark, right? PySpark, PySpark is nothing but a Python plus Spark, right?
Okay.
So what is Spark, and internally how Spark works, what are the internal components, and then again we will work on how we can write simple programs using PySpark, Python, right? The Python libraries, using Python libraries, how we can work with the Spark, and also the SQL engine, the PySQL.
Sir, actually, I want to understand what is the use of Databricks. I mean, in one or
That's the
two
part
lines.
of this course you will learn in next sessions. So, uh, as to give a simple answer, so as you can see, the enormous data getting generated by the different industries and different channels. So you want to process the data with the speed. Even if I get a petabyte of data right now, I wanted to
Mm,
process with the speed. To process with the speed, you need the different engines to do that. Not everything
okay,
can be done through one channel, right?
right.
So that is where Databricks will come into picture.
Okay. Okay. And sir, one more question. Let's say after completing this course, after completing 3 months, I am feeling that I should continue with one more time. So I will be able to continue. I mean, that facility is available here.
Continue this. Madhav, can you answer this one?
project in ADF and ADB.
Yeah, so we'll be, as part of the syllabus, we'll be covering the real-time scenarios. Okay, so
Okay.
so there are three, yesterday, I think yesterday we were discussing. So the content with the examples and also the real time. Okay, with these three kind of our course is structured such a way that we'll cover with these three things, so that you will understand anyhow the concepts you will understand, and also we will show you in an example how the concept is really working, right? These two things are different, but apart from these two, there is another thing. There is a real time, right? So how this concept can be applied in real time.
Okay.
Okay, so these three things will be covered, and also at the end of whether it's an ADF or ADB, at the end, how do you, for example, you are creating a pipeline, right? So how in the real time scenario, how the situation or the scenario can appear, so that you need the real time. You can create with the real time scenario. You can create a pipeline with the real time scenario.
Okay. So one more question, like I don't have any knowledge in Python,
Hmm.
but while we are creating the notebook in ADB, at that time we need to write the PySpark code in the uh, um, Azure Databricks actually cluster.
Hmm. Yeah.
So in that case, can I able to catch the things as I don't know the Python, or you will give the complete list end-to-end content of PySpark?
Yeah, so see, as I mentioned, PySpark is basically Python plus Spark. That means Python's libraries you need to know to work with Spark.
Okay.
Okay, so it's like, you have learned while hope many of you are driving, right? So you have learned the driving class with Maruti 800, but you need to drive a BMW now. How do you drive? So you need to know the basics of BMW, how it's functioning. That the clutch, brake, everything remains same, right?
Okay.
So that is the where or you want to drive the driverless car, which one is coming now. So what do you need to know? You need to know how the software operates in the driverless car, right? You need to start with the point A, and you need to mention your destination, and so on and so forth. Similarly, the Python libraries are available to work with Spark. Okay, so when I say library, it's a API. It's everything is packaged to you to just consume and use it. It's anyway, it's a very useful, I mean, user friendly. You need not break into your mind to write 100 lines of program or anything. You just need to know, okay, this library I need to use. So the library has these many options. Okay, according to I need to use these options. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I said one more question. Like it will be take 90 days or it will be completed in 60 days. I am confused a little bit. Can you?
60.
Okay, so in 60 days you will be complete ADF, ADB, and PySpark, right? All the.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I think we have 4 minutes left. Any last questions? We can take it up.
Yeah, Michael and Mesafin, you have any doubt, please ask. Michael and Mesafin.
No, I'm okay.
Have you give your information in that form? Michael and Mesafin.
Yeah, there is
One more-
a form. There is a form is available in the chart, Michael. So just fill that information. That will help us to plan for the next session and to have contact on yours. Did you get Michael?
Hello,
Yeah, can you hear us?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. You said it was in the chat. What
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
saying?
So see, in the chart there is a link available. That's to get just simple survey to get your details, so that we will have a communication with you on that through those details, just to get your details.
Okay.
Yeah, just a few information about the candidature. So please fill those details. And the same for Mesfin as well. Mesfin, if you are still not done, please do that. So that will give us, establishing the communication between the institute and yourself.